Okay, continuing to look at the ammo collection. This time we're looking at just some of the cooler looking shells in the collection. The reason I collect them. Some of them have such weird shapes and, you know, exaggerated cartridges compared to projectiles. So I'm not super familiar with all of these, but I'm going to go through the list here just take a look. Of course, we start out with basically some of the ones we've been using as our test comparisons, except I added the 22 short, one of my favorite ones. 22 short works with this neat little NAA 22 revolver. Anyway, that's the smallest one out of the bunch. Then we've got a 22 long rifle here. Next up is a 380, and then a 38 special, and then a 9mm, followed by the 40 caliber Smith & Wesson. Next is a 45 ACP. Now next to that one is an interesting one, and it is a 41 AE. So I think this was made for the Desert Eagle, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a, maybe it was for one of the CZ pistols, but 41 AE. So it's not a 40 caliber, and it's not, you know, it's a 41. So the next one up is a 357 SIG. It's a necked cartridge. Screw them all up here. Next one, if I don't have it marked here, and if I remember correctly, it's like a 7.62 by 25. I think it's the Tokarev pistol. Next is the Nagant revolver, and I always think it's just an empty brass case, but it's a really expensive round, so I don't want to throw it away ever. The bullet is in there, and it's basically the size like a .30 carbine or something, but it's for this Nagant revolver. I don't have one to show you, but the cylinder pushes forward, and this sort of fills the gap. So it's said to be one of the only revolvers where suppressor will work because of the cartridge actually fills in the gap there. Hiding back there is this little tiny 17 Mach 2, and it's the little brother of the 17 HR. Okay, so next to the 17s, we've got this 17, which is a 17 Remington. So it's again a 17 caliber, but a lot more cartridge behind it. Next up is the Russian round, the 7.6 or the 5.45 by 39. Again, the poison bullet. It's got a big dead air space in it. Really weird looking with the long bullet and short case. Next to it is the 22 Remington Jet. Looks like a little wine bottle. One of my favorites. Just a weird looking thing. I think it's for a revolver. Next to that one is another centerfire. It's the 22 Hornet. So this is the big brother of the 22 Magnum. Next to that is a 5.7 or 5.7 by 28. This is the round for the PS90. Next to it is the 218B, and another one that looks kind of like a wine bottle. One of the, well, I think the most exaggerated one in my collection is the 22 or the 223 WSSM, the 223 Winchester Super Short Magnum. So a little tiny squatty bullet with a 223 coming out of it. Really neat. And then the next to that one is a 270 Winchester Short Magnum, I think is what that stands for. Next to that is a pistol cartridge. It's a neck down 4440, so an old cowboy cartridge. Yeah, it's just kind of interesting, so I threw it in the pile. Next to that is the 50 Smith & Wesson for their 50 caliber revolvers. I'm not a big fan of that one. Next is the 4570, another cowboy round. Would not want to be on the business end of this guy. Getting even bigger though, I guess I'm going to go with this one, is the, what does this say? 458 Win Mag. So 458. This thing's as big as my finger, probably weighs more than two of my fingers. That thing's heavy. Then we've got a 375 H&H mag. I have no idea. These have got to be for elephants or something. These things are huge. They're like pens. And last but not least is the 50 BMG. I have no idea why this one's black. Probably for some sort of black ops. And basically it's just the biggest one I've got, so I threw it in my pile with neat looking ones. So again, range in size from some of the biggest ones in my collection to the smallest ones in my collection. You know, just collecting bullets is fun.